late start today. Going to get some coffee. Only way to bring some liveliness to the morning. Big shout out to you guys for the amazing Starbucks cards, because they definitely help. I wanted to include the shot of that restaurant. It's one of my favorite breakfast places close to me. It's awesome. It's very good. A little expensive. Okay, so story time. A lot of you guys know that fitness is a big part of my life, and that's because of not only like wanting to be healthy, but when I was younger, I was very, very skinny. And I don't mean like I was like, you know, a nerd or whatever. I mean, I was definitely a nerd, but I was very skinny. This was like in high school when, you know, everybody else was getting all big and stuff, and I was just this tall but skinny kid. Actually, there's a picture right here. Yeah, so now you know what I'm talking about. I was a little beanpole, and I have an older brother whose name's James, and he was Mr. Gym. He was, you know, swim team. He was the big man on campus, and I always procrastinated. And I said, you know, yeah, one day I'll start working out and I'll get fit and I'll get healthy, and I didn't. And you know, I procrastinated, and then I went to college, and I was still a very, very skinny kid. And then in my sophomore year of my undergraduate degree, I had a few things happen. I got a bit more serious about what I was doing, which was studying to be an opera singer. And I went through some health stuff, and I just one day decided, I said, this, enough. I said, I'm tired of not looking the way I want to look. So I went to this gym called Acceleration Sports Training, which some of you have seen photos of it, like this one. And I walked in, and I remember I was talking to the owner of the gym, and I said, well, all these doctors that I've been to said that I'm just gonna be skinny, that I just can't gain weight. And he took one look at me and said, well, that's stupid. So he said, all you need to do is get serious. So he gave me a nutrition program, a workout program, and I had no more excuses. I had to just do what I had to do. I had the tools, I had the education for it at that point. I just had to do it. So my sophomore year of my undergraduate degree, I started going to the gym religiously. I started eating a lot, and I gained a significant amount of weight. I gained about 30 pounds in 10 weeks, which is a lot, you know. And I remember I went to the doctor kind of after that trimester, and he looked at me and he's like, yeah, good job, but don't ever do that again. It's not healthy to gain that much weight that quickly. You know, even after that 30 pounds, I was still not nearly the size I wanted to be. I didn't look the way I wanted to look. That's not to say that I am now, like I'm closer, I'm the closest I've ever been, but obviously there's always work to be done. I kind of, once again, I hit this spot where my body had plateaued. I wasn't really getting anywhere, and I procrastinated again. I started making excuses, and I would go to the gym, but I wouldn't really get a good workout in. I wasn't eating enough. So my body just kind of stayed in that state. It was just like I stayed right at that weight for years. And then a few years later, I was back in New York. I was going to Juilliard for my master's. I remember the first day of orientation, I met this other singer who was a second year master's, and he's huge. He's a big jack guy, and he's one of the nicest guys, but he's just like, he looked awesome. And I remember thinking like, and he's also a baritone, so I remember thinking like, how am I gonna get roles over this kid, you know? So I decided again, I made a decision. I said, I'm back in New York, at this great school. I have 2 years here, and I just decided it's time to make a decision. It's time to get serious again. So again, I worked it into my schedule. Got very dedicated. I was going every day. And in the first year at school, I gained another 30 pounds. And I was a little healthier this time. It was over a number of months. But I went from 160 to 190-ish. And since then, I've kind of kept up that seriousness. And I'm more kind of around 200, 205 now. You know, and there's still a ways to go. But I tell you this story because people always talk to me about the procrastination, and whether it's in regards to health and fitness or the job they want or the career they want to pursue, they talk about, I can do it if only I had this, or I could do it if only I had made this decision. You know, although it's just the gym and it's just fitness, for me it's proven that if you just fully dedicate yourself 1,000% to something, eventually it will happen. That goes for careers, that goes for fitness, that goes for anything. Although it might seem easier for some people due to their luck or their position in life or whatever, that doesn't mean that they're more deserving than anyone else. You just have to see what you want and reconstitute everything you have to that purpose. Now that's easy for me to say because I always knew what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to be a singer and a performer, and I had incredibly supportive parents, and I always knew what I wanted to look like physically, and I got lucky with this great trainer. I have incredible people in my life that support anything I want to do. I got lucky that way, but with the fitness stuff, I wasn't lucky genetically. It really is something in my life that's taught me a lot about myself. I've learned that if I indulge myself, I will procrastinate. I've also learned that if I do procrastinate, it causes me a lot of anxiety because I hate wasting time, because the only true resource that is fleeting is time. Since I've been taught this lesson of driving yourself and dedicating yourself to something, I now have all of these new things I want to do and all of these new goals I have for myself. And my only enemy in the mission to get those things is time, because I know as long as I put the hours in and the work in, I can achieve something towards that goal. Because you have to come to terms with the fact that there's only so much you could get done in one day, or in an hour, or in 10 minutes. So when thinking about your goals and thinking about what you want to do in life and what you want to achieve, especially if you're somebody like me who has multiple goals and multiple aspirations, you have to make a hierarchy of importance when it comes to those goals. So you know which of those goals you have to push hardest for. That doesn't mean you can't pursue multiple things in life. That just means that you have to know where the priorities lie and the hierarchy of those priorities. But yeah, so I just wanted to have kind of a story time with you guys because I haven't done that yet. This is a story that I haven't ever really shared with the fans, so I thought this vlog would be a good way to periodically have these talks and have these stories where I share a bit about myself and a bit about my life and get your reaction. So that being said, feel free to comment down below and let me know what you think, and let me know how this type of thing relates to you in your life and your career and your aspirations. And of course, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, which I think is just there or there, depending on how this video gets flipped. But either way, thanks for stopping by, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.